Child Protective Services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection. Okay, and that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host for Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G, and I also work for Attorney Vincent Davis. And I have Miss Cassandra.
Hi, I'm Cassandra.
My beautiful co-host. Hi, dear.
Hi.
So I want to start off with something, you guys. I'm sure you guys saw the introductory video, and Mr. Davis always says you have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent. And this is so accurate. And this is real news, okay? I want to start with this. Child Protective Services, also known as CPS or DCFS, or pieces of shit, whichever you want to say, are known as our protected empire built on kidnapping children and destroying families. That should be their name. Their name should be destroying families and stealing children. That's what their name should be, really. Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses to the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, CPS treats children like merchandise. Merchandise, not children. That sells. And they must bring plenty of innocent children so the buyers can choose. The buyers are the foster parents. Workers work hard to keep the federal dollar flowing. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage, and that percentage the state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, state and local community, which is CPS, work hard to reach the goal to increase the numbers of adoption. This program is set by the very top and is run by the Health and Human Resources. By the way, you guys, I'm reading this, which is facts, and it came from Senator Nancy Schaefer herself. She was a senator. She lost her seat on the Senate because she exposed Bill Clinton and CPS and the state for what they're doing. So let's move forward. This program is set by the very top and is run by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS don't get the help from their legislator. And the ones that benefit from all this are social workers, court pretenders, guardian ad litem, foster parents and adoptive foster parents. They all benefit from this. Psychiatrists, therapists. all of these people benefit from kids in the state custody.
Therapeutic group home people.
Yep, they
All
benefit.
of it.
They all benefit. All benefit. All your tax dollars are going to these people stealing your kids. And your tax dollars, really, think about it. Everybody pays taxes. Everybody. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cassandra.
Yep.
This gigantic
We all
system,
pay taxes.
yeah, this gigantic system afloat keeps our tax dollars are what keeps the gigantic system afloat. 6 out of 10 kids die in foster care, if not more, right now. CPS became protected empire built on taking children and separating families, which is called really illegal kidnapping. That's what it is. It's illegal kidnapping because they withhold evidence. They withhold the truth from the courts to get what they want. They will fabricate court documents. Yesterday on my show, what did I say? There was a social worker who is going to be in Kentucky. She has 5-year sentence. She was sentenced on Tuesday for withholding evidence and lying against the parents. She lives in Florida, and the judge said, nope, you're going to carry your sentence in Kentucky where you committed your crimes. And I hope to God in jail she would learn a big lesson. And I hope to God that the state wakes up and do the right thing, because stealing kids from innocent families is despicable. Despicable is plain evil. It's evil for destroying innocent children. They're absolutely. But the social workers are not human.
It's torture.
They're not. There's no way they're human. There's no way anyone can steal children from their mother or a loving father and call themselves human. It's not right. It doesn't make any sense. It's just I sometimes I'm lost in words because they're scumbags. They're nothing but narcissistic, sociopathic individuals. That's who they are. That's exactly who they are. So the system is broken because CPS has the power to destroy and target innocent families while they leave abused kids in homes of the abuser. What is happening in America? Where CPS is a political criminal shitheads who steal children using ruthless type of behavior. Ruthless type of behavior. It's disgusting. Everything that is worth living for is under attack right now, you guys. So let me explain it in depth. The environment that has been created and corrupted and manipulated. This environment has been created and corrupted and manipulated. Does not respect women, does not respect children, does not respect anyone. Okay? They don't even respect some men. It cares nothing about families. It cares absolutely nothing about families. If that is the society we want to live in, then we need to see how crazy we are. If we are used to this society, we have to be crazy because it makes no sense. The world in the condition it's in is because of disrespect of women in general. Let me explain it again in a different way. There is so much that is placed around a woman. Let me just say this. When you teach a man, you are teaching an individual. When you are teaching a woman, you are teaching a nation. You're teaching a nation. Every prophet came from the womb of a woman. Every intelligent, strong leader came from the womb of a woman. And that's why the movement must attack the mother and remove the father, because to get through her, you must get through him. The government must remove the father, who is the protector, to get through the woman and the children. So we ask ourselves daily, me and Cassandra talk often. Why do they attack women? And like I just read to you right now, that's the reason why. She's a life giver.
She's a bond.
Exactly. She's
She's
that
the glue.
bond. She's that glue that holds the family together. When you divide that, you become weaker. And that's why they break the woman so badly. A mother, especially a mother. A love of a mother to her child is so intense. The child, when it's born, is still connected to the mother's bond. When you separate that, the child becomes angry. The child cries. The child wants that bond. And people ask why teenagers are out of control. Teenagers are out of control because of what you're putting them through. Let me start with number one. Now, a 6 or an 8-year-old can have a condom from school. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Number two, they're teaching teenagers to have sex. When I was a teenager, my teacher, her name was Mrs. Adut. It was a husband and wife. She gave me my first sex education class in high school. And she taught us this between a man and a woman. Marriage, babies. First, you do go to school, get married, have children. And when you have children, you were with that man who is your husband. That's how she explained it to us. Now, I'm way older than you guys. Most of you guys are still young kids to me. I'm in my mid-50s. I'm older. But nowadays, they're teaching children something different. They're taking a teenager from her mother, right? Telling her, you have the power to do whatever you want. You can have sex. You can do drugs. Whatever you want. You make that decision. But when the teenager makes a decision to be with her mom, they don't want. You can't have that decision. Young teen, you can't. But they're giving a decision to an 8-year-old to choose what sex they want to be. Listen to what I'm telling you guys. This world we live in is crazy. It's manipulative. It's ruled by Satan. I don't care what anybody else says. That's my opinion, and I know what I'm saying. My opinion. You don't have to believe it, but it's my opinion. Any demonic act is separating families apart. That's why oftentimes when people go through a divorce with custody, I tell them this: work together. You don't have to like each other. You don't have to stand each other, but just work together for the sake of the children. But then again, if you have a narcissistic parent, he's not going to want to work with you. He want to make your life as hell as can be and brainwash your children so they have doubts against you, so he wins. Same thing with CPS. It's all about winning. It's not about the well-being of a child. It's not about protecting children. That's not even in their vocabulary. They go to schools. They have training once a month, by the way, once or twice a month, where they go to school to teach them more how to manipulate parents. I never gone to a course in my entire life to learn how to manipulate people. It makes no sense to an average person who never grew up that way. I am blessed to have grown up with both my parents. I am blessed that I've never seen my mom and dad argue or fight or disagree, or, they talked it out, they agreed to disagree, and they moved on. But maybe all my life I could never process that such craziness exists. It's not until you actually witness it, right, that you realize like your brain shifts, kind of like, what is this? How is this possible? Narcissistic, sociopathic people their target are good people. Good people who actually speak the truth. Because they're easy target. Why? Because they can easily be manipulated. And we live in it. We live in it in relationships. We live in it among friends. We live in it among our colleagues. We live in it among other people that we meet. We live in it everywhere. It's all around us. But you have to learn to discern and keep your mouth shut. And not speak to them as they're your friends. And I keep telling everybody this, do not talk to them as they are your friends. And oftentimes people get in trouble with CPS and because of their own doing. And the problem is everybody thinks they have a civil lawsuit. Everyone thinks they have a civil lawsuit against CPS. But what you guys don't understand is that, number one, you have to hire an attorney from day one of that card being placed in front of your doorstep, or the initial phone call from a social worker. Number two, having an attorney before they remove your children during the investigation, having the attorney present, and you keeping your mouth shut and having the attorney handle the case, a juvenile dependency attorney that is, it opens the door up to a good civil lawsuit. Your documentation is also important. If they came to your home, did they have a warrant? Was the warrant signed by a judge? Oftentimes I ask people, did they have a warrant? I don't know. I said, so anybody can fucking give you a card, say I'm a social worker, you give them your kids? You have a warrant. Well, they came with the police. The police is just a distraction. Some cops don't even ask to see a warrant. Some cops just don't go along with it. So you have to, and I know it's hard to say because when you're in it, you're emotional. As a woman, as a mother, the only thing that matters to you is your kids. That's it. But then you become emotional. You're not logical. You're not centered. But how can you be centered? But that's what I try to educate people. And I hope to God people are watching this before they open their mouth with social workers. Don't listen to them. Don't share with them your life story. They're not there to be your friend. They're not there to be buddy buddies where you can go to Starbucks once in a while. That's not their job. They will take your kids. I don't care if you're mother of the year, father of the year. I don't care. I don't care if you have a Porsche, you have a Toyota, you have a Honda, you have a Rolls Royce. It doesn't matter. Their job is to steal your children, period. There's a case that we're handling right now. I can't say who, but somebody that's very well known, right? So the social worker lied and said that the mother did not have food in the refrigerator. That's a lie. The mother has 2 refrigerators, by the way, full of food. So what did the mom do? Immediately downloaded the camera. She had a Ring camera in the kitchen. She had a Ring camera in the living room. And the Ring camera in the kitchen is to make sure the kids don't just go and eat ice cream without her knowledge. Right? So she put the Ring camera facing the refrigerator. Luckily, the Ring camera was on when the social worker they came to the house, opened the refrigerator, told her there's food, the house is clean, etc., etc., etc. She has a maid, everything you can think of. And then the social worker left, came back the following day with the cops to remove the children. In the report, in the discovery report, the social worker wrote, no food in the refrigerator. She downloaded the video, gave it to her attorney, and that's how you build your civil case. You have to build it in the right way. But if you start talking too much, you start doing this, you start doing that, signing a safety plan, doing this, doing that, saying you're guilty so you can have your kids back, that's not going to get you your kids back. That's not even opening a door to having a civil case. So people, I'm asking you to always, 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 always think clearly. Somehow learn to center yourself without emotions involved. Because when you center yourself, you will think clearly. I've oftentimes mentioned in my shows, learn how to do meditation. Meditate. I've learned that when I was a teenager. My mom and dad taught me. It was hard because at first I thought it was boring. That's kind of useless. But as I practiced it throughout my young years to my adult years, it's a way to release the clutter. Release the clutter so the logic and the centeredness comes in. It will be clear for you. You will be centered. Because unwanted clutter is what keeps you in bondage. Going backwards. You're still tied up. You need to release it. You need to release the anger. You need to release the resentment. You need to center yourself. We all have times, like I'll give you an example. When I was in school in junior high, I was bullied by a couple of girls. And I don't know why. They just hated me. I didn't fight back in a violent way. I ignored them, ignored them, ignored them, ignored them. And then one day, I sent them a note and I said, hey, let's talk. And I literally talked to them. That's all I did. I talked to them. And we're good friends until today. Like lifetime friends. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is sometimes violence at any time is not good. But that's why you need to center yourself. You need to think clearly. Sometimes we open our mouth and we don't know what we're saying because we're so exhausted. We're so tired. We don't sleep. We don't eat. We want our kids back. And immediately, like right now. But when you contact an attorney in the midst of your case, towards the end of your case, and then I hear people asking me, so Miss G, now that I hired your office, can you get my kids back next week? No. Because now you're in this process. Right? We have to review your case. We have to see what happened, all the damages that happened on your case. The attorney's not going to just walk into court and say, oh yeah, Your Honor, my client is innocent. Please give her back the children. Yes, you can get your kids back. But you have to do it right. And don't sabotage your own case from the beginning. Because when you do that, you're giving yourself very little chances. It's kind of like don't give them a gun and ammunition and tell them, here you go. You can't do that to your enemy. Here you go. Here's a gun. Here's the bullets in your hand. That's exactly what you do when you're emotional. There is a guy that I was just talking about. I think I mentioned earlier that Cassandra is going to talk about. He's a Democrat and he was a foster child. And, you know, Cassandra and I talked about that for a brief minute. And I said to her, I said, it doesn't matter if he's a Democrat or a Republican. All I care about, all we should care about is that the children should belong at home with their families. Because oftentimes they steal children from good people. You're looking at Cassandra right now. She's a non-offending parent. I know her story. But yet they would rather her daughters run away on the street than to be with their mom. She never been to court. She never had a trial. She was never even given a chance to fight for her children. There's a lot of women out there like that. But then oftentimes I hear women saying, I am a good mom. Miss G, I'm a good mom. I'm not like all the rest that watch your shows. I'm better than them. And that to me is like piercing in my heart. Why? Because she has no idea what she's talking about. And I told her this, if it happened to you and you're a good mom, what makes you think the other moms are bad? And then she pauses and then she's like, you know what? That makes sense. So oftentimes people judge mothers. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I would never do that. Never.
Let's not do that.
Never in my life, because
right.
I know that it happened to me and I've seen it happen to other people. I know a lot more now, and I would never, ever, ever judge a mom ever again. Like I have before, before I lost my kids. Like I did judge some people and I feel bad for it, and I should have never done that, because now I know, like, it's so like wrong, like what they do to good people. I see bad parenting people all the time in my town, just saying, and they still have their kids.
I know. I've seen kids who are actually being abused in front of me. And I'm like looking at the parent, and I'm like, really? I saw at Macy's last week a 3-year-old was with the father, and the mom went to the bathroom, and I was like shopping, and the father told the child to shut the F up. And he grabbed him from his shoulder and slammed him on the stroller. To me, a 3-year-old, you don't do that to a child. You didn't even do that to an adult. You don't do that to anyone. I have seen people abuse and abuse and abuse, and nobody says anything. No one. Anybody can just make a call against an innocent person. Anyone. And CPS will be involved and go in and just deal with children. Narcissistic people are everywhere. Everywhere. Anybody can make a call against you. Anyone can make a call against you. And CPS will take it and run with it.
Yep.
It's like they're literally making a call to the devil to come in.
That's another thing. Like I was reading about mandated reporting and how they use it as a weapon. It's a weapon. And they're not doing anything about that.
I know. I want you to tell everybody about that guy that was in the foster system.
Okay. He's a California lawmaker who is a Democrat, which, wow, that's shocking.
What's his name?
It doesn't matter. His name is Bryan. And he actually spoke at the rally that was on May 11th in Sacramento. And he talked about his time in foster care as a baby, and how he has a family of 15. He has 8 adopted siblings, and he talks about the struggles that he had with his family bonds because of, all the different places that he ended up, which he went to college, of course, but then he was also in jail and on the streets. He's trying to make a difference in the law in California for foster youth and stuff like that, because he knows how it is, basically. And that's why he has kind of a one up on his colleagues and stuff, because he's basically been there, done that. And he has some supporters and some backup from other Democrats in the lawmaking Yeah. So he's trying to make a difference. He's trying to put bills into order that are going to help foster youth when they get out of foster care. Yeah, he's doing a lot.
And I think this is the link right here on Facebook. I got that link, copy that link on Facebook, so you guys can copy and paste it, and you can read more about him.
Yeah.
And like I told Cassandra, it doesn't
matter what he is.
Yeah.
As long as he's trying to make a difference.
And there was a comment earlier. She said, "Do I know any civil right attorney?" Mr. Davis handles a lot of civil cases, Ashley. But like I was mentioning earlier, people think they have a good civil lawsuit, but not everybody can actually win cases. Meaning, Mr. Davis would have to review your case. He would have to audit your case because he will have to kind of see what happened and talk to you and ask you a lot of questions, etc., etc. So it involves a lot of work. And oftentimes people think 100% they have a good case, but you don't know that until a civil attorney can audit your case. Just like when you go to the doctor, you explain your symptoms, but the doctor cannot just go by what you're saying. He or she would have to do a blood test.
Yeah,
right?
I think if everybody wants to see a picture of who we're talking about so they know, like, who Isaac Bryan is, this guy is amazing for doing what he's doing, and he was a former foster care child, you know, if they want to see it.
I'm going to see if I can...
there he is. That's him. He's on the screen. That's Isaac Bryan. He is the lawmaker that's trying to help in the child welfare system.
Yeah.
So,
and because he's been in the system himself, so he understands what goes on behind closed doors. And I think that's the kind of person we would want on our side, because he knows it, he's seen it, he knows what happens to children after they leave foster homes. I mean, there's nothing good, really nothing good happens to them. Unless, not to all of them, but like luckily him, for example, he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to change it. So yes, he's a Democrat, but like I said, at this point, it doesn't matter if he's a Democrat or a Republican. We want to focus on reunification with our children. Because all these mothers that are fighting and all the fathers who are fighting for their kids who are innocent, who are victims of CPS. And I really don't care what anybody says about them, because I speak to so many of them a day. I know what they go through. I know what is going on. And you guys have to take into account that CPS they're hyenas. Watch hyenas when they're in the jungle, what they do. They're ugly, right? I mean, you've seen a hyena, right? They're vicious. They're ugly. They're ugly ugly animals. So when you look at a social worker, don't ever think her intention or his intention is to help you. They don't help you. Because if they help you, they're not going to get the incentives. Adoption. That's a big number. That's a huge number. Social workers will help family members if they've been reported at, their best friends. You know what I mean? Kind of like they will choose who they want to help and not help. But then they will feed you with a bunch of lies. If you say you did it, you're going to get your kids back. I hear that a lot. I see that a lot. If you sign here that you did it, you're going to get your kid back next week. Oh, your reunification is in October. Why wait until October? There is no reunification in October. That's what they want you to think. But why wait that long? Why do you have to wait until October to unify me with my kids? Right?
Yeah, that's what they did to
Why?
me. Well, that's what they did to my baby's dad. They told him
Exactly.
January, they told him May, they told him December, they told him January again. Like, it's like pulling along like something and teasing. Like, have you ever seen that Geico commercial where the guy's got a dollar bill on like a fishing reel and he's all like,
Yes.
come on, you can get it, you can get it, and the guy's trying to chase the dollar bill. Like, that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they do with
Like,
everybody. But
and
don't ever. Well, the point I'm trying to make to people, and I'm hoping I can get through to them, is do not admit you're guilty when you're not guilty. Why would you want to admit you're guilty when you're not guilty? Here, Tanya said they have had my children for 3 years. 3 years. In those 3 years that they had her kids, they're getting paid for every minute the child is in the CPS custody. This is $1 billion a year entity, if not more. That's what they do. They make their money. They're going to get paid. Oftentimes people say, oh, well, the court-appointed attorneys are free. They're not free. They're not free, sweetheart. They get paid, just not by you. That's what people think. It's like you're going to a donut shop and they have samples of donuts and it's free. It's free sample, free sample, free sample. But you can't have more than a bite of the free sample, right? Guys, think about it. There is no free CPS attorneys. If they work for the state, they get paid by them. If you call a private attorney's office, that attorney actually do work for their money. And people don't understand that. But when you take matters in your hand and then you get mad at the attorney because you screwed up, you blame the attorney, and you want to complain, you want to write this, you want to do this, you're putting your effort into something that is so wrong. Because you're so angry, you want to blame somebody. Oftentimes we tell people don't talk to the social workers. What do? They talk to the social worker. They start writing letters. The grandparents gets involved. The grandmother writes a letter to the social worker and gets involved in the case. And her son is fighting for his child or her daughter's fighting for her child. And everybody now is involved. Right? And then the attorney finds out later because the grandmother hid it from her son's attorney or hid it from her daughter's attorney. And then they lose the case and say the attorney is a piece of shit. The attorney didn't do this. The attorney didn't do that. The attorney. But what's sad about it is you could be your own worst enemy when you have a CPS case. You as an individual can be your own worst enemy. And I think Cassandra knows what I'm talking about because I'm sure that she came across people who will do whatever they want to do and forget the attorney's ideas or attorney's strategy.
Oh, yeah. Like,
That's
especially people that don't educate themselves first, like, and don't know anything about the law. Like, they think that it's the same kind of law. Like, I've talked to so many people about, like, my case, like, just saying, like, what happens, trying to, like, spread the word about, like, how CPS is, you know, to other people. And other people are all like, well, what's the difference between a regular lawyer? Can't you just hire a regular lawyer? When I'm, like, trying to ask for money to help me with my lawyer, my family has been like, oh, why don't you just hire a regular lawyer there for a cheaper price? I was like, because they don't know what they're talking about.
No, they don't.
It is so different. And so, like, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work. You're not going to get, like, I try to explain to many people. And that's why it was hard for me. It's hard for me still trying to get the funds up for an actual attorney because nobody wants to help me because I'm trying to get a specific kind of attorney. Like it seems like, and people are just not educated to the fact that you could fuck up everything with the wrong attorney, with the wrong thing you say, with the wrong thing that somebody else says or somebody else goes and does. They think they're going to help you, but they're not. They're making things worse. Like, you got to tell your family and friends not to go fuck with your shit either, though. Like, I've seen that happen. Like, somebody from somebody's family go into the social workers and try to do something like they're able to and just make it worse on somebody else. Like, I've seen that too.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot too. I want to answer somebody that wanted to call in. She said, can I call in? What you can do is you can contact the show producer, Grace, and she will put her information right now, and you can request to be on my show. You're more than welcome, and you can talk about your story, and or talk to Grace first, or talk to Cassandra also. Cassandra, I think you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, she's on Facebook. Just contact her, send her a private message, like on Messenger, and she will be able to talk to you and know a little bit about your story, and then set you up with Grace. And here's Grace's link right now. That's her email. You can always email her, and then set it up with her. But I recommend you talk to Cassandra as well too, because she's amazing.
Thank you. Well, also calling out to like any foster kids that were in the system. We would love to hear your stories too. Just not just like the parents, but the foster kids to tell their stories too. I would love to hear some of your guys' stories and your experiences in foster care.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. And also, I spoke to 8 foster kids this year, from the beginning of the year until now, total of 8, and I have their names and phone numbers, and they're amazing. They're in some of them are in their 20s now, some of them are in their 30s, and they had so much to share with me. When I was talking to them, most of them I met them at Starbucks. A couple of them went to Panera. We ate lunch together, and each and every one of them wept, like literally wept, like just reliving it alone is painful. It's so painful that a grown man in front of me was crying at Panera restaurant. You guys know where Panera is, I'm sure. So it's so intense. They've been through so much. I want them to be on my show. I did ask them, but they're thinking about it. They keep telling me they're thinking about it. But me and them still contact each other. We talk to each other twice a week sometimes, and sometimes once a week. Sometimes I can't because I'm so busy, but we keep in touch either through phone conversation or text messages. But I did meet them, and the stories that they have, you guys, is so bad. They were told, some of them were told, that if they don't lie about the mom or the dad, that they will never, ever have a home to stay in. And they threaten to put them in group homes that will beat them. Okay. What is that sound, you guys? Is that you, Cassandra?
No.
I don't know. I heard something.
But it might have been outside of my room. Somebody talking.
Probably.
Sorry.
That's okay. But honestly, you guys, they go through a lot of pain, a lot of threats. There's some of them who told me that the social worker promised to get them an iPhone and tablet, and it's like they bribe them. It's like it's so bad, and they would cry for their mom or dad or whatever, and then they get punished by the foster parents. They get punished, and the foster parents treat their own children better than they treat the foster children. And what did they do to a couple of foster women that I spoke with? I mean, foster children that I spoke with who are young ladies now, they would use them like maids.
Mm-hmm.
Make them do the dishes, make them do the cleaning, make them do the
Make
vacuum.
them rub their feet.
Make them rub their feet.
My daughter actually told me that one of her foster moms made her rub her feet. And I was like, in order to stay up longer and watch TV with her sister, who's already allowed to, like, she was treating one of my kids better than the other.
Yeah.
So, like, in order to stay up with my older daughter, who she favored, in order for her to stay up with her, she'd have to rub her feet. This is what one of my daughters told me.
Yeah. And that's what, but it's worse than that. It's worse than that. They oh my God. There's other stuff too, you guys. Like, they would see the foster mom and the boyfriend have sex, and the foster mother tells them, "I'm gonna go have sex now, so you guys better be sitting down quiet." Telling a 7-year-old that. A 7-year-old. Another one who said that reminded her of her dad. When her dad got involved with another woman, he would take her and her sister to that woman's house and tell them, "I'm going to go have sex with her, so just wait here and behave." Yeah. And there's so many stories that I hear, and there's so much in pain. Each and every one of them. You can't erase that from their memory. You can't. And CPS doesn't care. There's a couple of young men who told me, "Georgette, I wanted to go to my dad and my mom so badly." And the social worker said, "I would rather you stay on the street doing drugs. I don't care if you do that, but you're not going to your family." Yeah. He was 15 years old. He ran away a couple of times. He started knowing people on the street. He started doing drugs, and the police found him, took him back to the home, and he told them, "I don't want to be with you. I want to be with my mom and dad. They were good to me. They were good to me." And the social worker said no to him.
Because question, do you know if they still get funded for the child that runs away in foster care?
As long as the child is in the CPS custody.
And they run away and they still get funded even though they don't know where they are?
That's a good question. That's a question for Mr. Davis.
Because, like, obviously, if they don't care that the kid goes out and does that, and then, like you said, rather than on the streets and do drugs and stuff, like, obviously, they're still getting money for that child if they feel like that. Because once they go back to their parents, they're not going to be funded anymore. But once they're on the street and they're still getting funded, I'm feeling like that's what would happen. Like, they're still getting funded even though the child's not in their custody. Physical custody, but in their custody.
That's a good question, actually. You always come up with really interesting questions. I just love you, Cassandra. I'm gonna ask Davis that. I'm gonna actually text him right now because I'm curious to know too.
Yeah, like, because, like, if that's the case, no wonder there's so many missing foster children and them not giving a fuck. Like, seriously.
Okay, tell you what, text it to me right now.
Okay.
And after the show, I will discuss it with Davis because I just saw a text that he's busy right now on a meeting. But text it to me so that way I can just send it to Davis. I really would like to know that too. The thing about, like, what I tell you, a narcissist, that's why I told you they're narcissists. So why? A narcissist doesn't want to lose. So they would rather destroy the children, manipulate them, brainwash them, than to see them happy with the parent. Does that make sense? You guys have to study oh my God, at least study go to school and take psychology. Read psychology books. Understand Learn about the narcissistic behavior. There's several types of narcissism. There's covert narcissist. There's a malignant narcissist. There's this narcissist. I mean, bipolar, at least they have medication. But being a narcissist, that's near damn as the same way as being the devil himself. They're demonic. They're pathological liars. They start smear campaigning about you. They start a smear campaign against you. And those idiots that believe them are nothing but idiots. And they behave like victims. They lie. They manipulate. That's some intense demonic shit. Perfect example. There's men and women who are narcissists. Watch the Andy Gibb trial. Listen to her testimony. Amber Heard. That's a perfect example of a narcissist behavior. My opinion. And I'm sure a lot of you watched it. But you guys have to understand, you have to be careful who you speak with. When it comes to social workers, like I said, do not share everything with them. You need to contact your attorney. You should share everything with your attorney, but your court-appointed attorney will take your information and use it against you. It's very important that you guys understand that. They will use your information against you. So you need to educate yourself about CPS. You need to educate yourself how they behave, how they operate in the courtroom, what the purpose of the court-appointed attorney is. You guys think free is good, but do everything in your power to get an attorney in the beginning of your case. Not a family law attorney. Mr. Davis always says you need to hire a juvenile dependency attorney.
Which are very hard to find.
Well, some of them don't want to handle cases.
Yeah.
Some of them don't want to deal with CPS. They would rather die than deal with CPS.
I've like searched in California, and it was hard for me to find another, like any other one besides Mr. Davis. Like seriously, I found one other woman who would like help with CPS. Actually calls herself a juvenile dependency lawyer.
Well, I don't know how much experience they have, but like we have attorneys in Mr. Davis' office, like Jennifer Alney, 32 years. You know, Mr. Davis, 30-something years. We have Andrew Hawes. We have, oh my God, I forgot the other names. But we have people, attorneys in our office who are very experienced when it comes to CPS cases. So if they haven't done a CPS case but one time, that's not I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but I don't know. It depends on the attorney, right?
Yeah.
I can't determine if they're good or not. But you need somebody who knows how to fight CPS. Knows it very well. They know the ins and outs of CPS. And that's the advice I'm going to give you guys today. Tomorrow, we're having the relatives fight CPS at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm sorry. I take that back. 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I apologize. 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time is called Relatives Fight CPS. If you're relatives who want to be involved, if you're a sibling, an older sibling, if you're an aunt, an uncle, a close friend of the family, you're more than welcome to write down questions. If you want to participate in the show, please contact Grace and also contact Cassandra. And Cassandra is on Facebook. What's her name on Facebook?
Cassandra Woodard.
Yeah, that's her name on Facebook. You can send her a message, a private message, and she will definitely give you a call back. Melanie Hudson said, I had no idea everything could be twisted into head like that. Twisted like that. Even reading books to my kids, not enough structure. I read to them almost every night, still at age 8, 6, and 4. They loved it. Oh my God. Melanie, I don't know if you called my office before, Mr. Davis's office, but you're more than welcome to contact me at 888-888-6582 and let me know a little bit more about your story and to understand it better. That would be great. So the number again is 888-888-6582 and just ask for Miss G or GT, Lenny, Joni, Rachel, or Diane might answer the phone. Just let them know that you were on my show and to send me an email with your phone number and your name, and I will definitely give you a call back. I don't understand what is the incentive in the state taking kids from, maybe she meant to say from their parents and giving them to foster, where they have to pay foster parents and program for parents. That's the state losing. That's the state. I don't know what that means. Tax. So that's the state losing money. Honey, the state doesn't lose money. The state makes money. And in order for them to make money, they have to pay these programs. But what you guys don't understand is that oftentimes judges have group homes that they own too. They have
It's a big, like Michael said the other day, it's a big oiled machine. So like it all works together, and no matter what, they're not losing money. They're making money by making each other. They're like a close-knit family. It's an empire, a close-knit empire that all intertwines and works together. So nobody's losing money. They're all making money, and it's so corrupt that nobody loses money. They all make money because they're all close-knit together.
Yeah,
it's just like this.
Yes, and also I mentioned, and I think several weeks ago, on one of my shows, I mentioned about a judge that was arrested because he was using children for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like if it's legal or not. They're still making money off our children.
Yep. A CPS judge, by the way. Yeah. So you just don't know. It might sound logical to you to say why, but it's all connected together.
And that's basically what they want you to think too. Like they want you to think that, we care about reunification. We care about how we're going to get the kids back to their kinships or all that stuff. They want to advertise that and make that known as much as possible. Like they're doing that, but they're not. But they're going to do that just to put on a front so that way everybody doesn't show suspicion of what they're actually doing.
Correct. So with that being said,
because I see that all day long.
Yeah. So
I see it all day.
But with that being said, it's okay. But with that being said, is that oftentimes I see social workers' family members owns a group home.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that too. A lot of social worker family members owns group homes. So therefore, just think to yourself. They're making money. They're making money. Everybody wins in their world. That's why they are a protected empire built on just kidnapping children and the separation of them. That's why they're protected.
Yeah, they could tell you all day long, we are trying to prevent trauma. We're trying to reunify families. We're trying to do kinships. We're trying to do this. But everybody who's been in this situation knows that they don't try those things first. They try to put them into foster families first. So that way they could get funded. So that way, because they're all a close-knit family. They're not trying to keep our kids in our families where they belong for our God-given right to have our kids. They're not trying to do that. They're not trying to not cause trauma. They're trying to cause destruction, and they try to advertise this as much as possible so that way they could look like they're doing their job. That's all it is. I
am going to send this book to Melanie. I know that once or twice a month I'm going to start doing this. So Melanie, I'm going to send you this book. Mr. Davis wrote this book, The Secret How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I actually love this book because he breaks it down step by step, you know, what happens in the first hearing, what happens in the second hearing. I mean, this book is amazing. I don't know if I sent you yours yet, Cassandra.
Yeah, you have. It was kind of hard for me to like connect with that book since I didn't go to court for any of
that.
I
know, but just to give you a little bit of knowledge on how it works.
Yeah.
So that book is very good, you guys. So Melanie, when you do contact me, please let the receptionist know that I mentioned that I'm going to send you the book, and I would just need you to communicate with you. And I'm going to start doing that with people on my show. I'm going to choose one of you guys, and I will send you a book. Definitely, at least you have it with you and keep it with you, and educate yourself and the process in the courtroom in this demonic building.
And in order, like, I got something to say too. Like, if you ever see somebody having the same situation problem as you, share your knowledge. Like, basically let other people know about and support them. Like, be supportive of your fellow, like, parents that are going through the same thing. Like, don't sit there and watch them go through it without letting them know what they can do if you know what to do.
Exactly.
Because the more you know, basically. Woo. Like, you know, the more you know.
No, this is a good question too. I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but anyways, they wrote, who approves foster homes and parents? I don't know what you mean, who approves foster homes and parents? Or the question is, who approves foster homes?
Like, who approves, like, any of that? Like, the parents that run the foster homes or the foster homes? Like, they just, anybody can just be like that? Like, who approves that? That's what I'm like, I wonder that too.
You know what? I that's another question. I need you to write that down too, Cassandra. I would love to. Mr. Davis is gonna be like, Georgette, you're on a mission. What is up with that? But I would like to give you guys the answer and talk about it. She said yes, Cassandra, so you're right.
Yeah.
So, or he said, is it are you a he or a she? I need to know. Is it Mr.?
It says Mr., I believe so.
Oh, Together We Break Chains Production says, I bought Mr. Davis's book. It's actually also on Amazon. I forgot to mention to you guys, it's on Amazon. It's like $9 or something like that. And it's actually a really very, very interesting book. I really like it a lot. But yes, I will find out the answer. I'm just going to call you Mr. I'm going to find out the answer for you. And tomorrow, hopefully, I will talk about it tomorrow on my tomorrow show at 3:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Cassandra, did you write down that question?
Oh, yeah. I'll write it down right now.
Yeah, because that's a very good question. I know that there's a judge in LA County. I'm not going to say where in LA County, but he owns 3 adoptive agencies. So, and there's another judge that I heard about that came from a solid source. He owns 4 group homes. Orange County, Lancaster, Orange County, Lancaster, LA County, and probably Riverside. I'm not sure on the Riverside part.
Like, I'm pretty sure like it's the agencies that approve them, because they go through agencies, don't they?
We don't know. I don't know.
Because I know I was just talking to somebody that's, I know that knows the system or whatever. She's a former social worker for CPS, former. She told me that like my kids aren't in an agency anymore. There's certain agencies and then there's CPS. And they're in care with CPS, but they used to be in agencies. And the agencies are what do the foster homes and stuff, but I guess CPS has their own foster homes and stuff too.
Yeah.
And like, we don't know why my social worker person isn't contacting the agencies and he's just keeping them in CPS, like foster homes. Like it's a big close-knit system, like I just said. Like, but I think there's agency approved foster homes and then there's CPS approved foster homes. But I don't know exactly who does the approving. The state approved foster homes. I have no idea about that. Like, I don't know who does that.
You know what? It sounds right, but I'm still going to ask Mr. Davis. It sounds right that the state approves foster homes. However, how do we really know that the foster home has no connection to the judge or relatives?
Or in the fact of like, if they have anything wrong with these people. We just talked about yesterday how some foster mother shook a baby to death. And how they put
old baby.
Yeah. And then
baby.
The Riverside House of Horrors children, the Turpin children. Right. Turpin children were abused by their parents for years. They had a 30-year-old, a whole bunch of people. They also got put into a foster home after they got rescued from their parents, where they were still getting abused and molested.
Wow.
So like, who's really doing the approving of all these foster homes, and who's really like looking out for the kids? Because I don't see anybody doing that.
The thing about it is, there's a lot of foster homes who have a criminal record. They actually live with sex offenders, but yet they will take children because of the grandmother's felony when she was 16 years old. But what the hell? Like, what is happening here? By the way, tomorrow we're going to discuss. The on Relatives Fight CPS show. We're going to discuss the new law, because I'm getting a lot of people telling me, when they call me, I tell them, I said, there's a Nancy Skinner law. There's a new law. They can't hold your past against the family members. They can't do that. And then once the parent mentions that, or the grandparent or the aunt or the uncle mention that to the social worker, they act like they're stupid. They act like they don't know what they're talking about. They know about the new law. They know about it, but they want to know if you're educated. They want to know if you know. Oftentimes people tell me, I didn't know. When did it come out, Ms. G? I'm like, it was signed and it was in full effect on January 1st of 2022.
I have something else to say, though.
Yeah.
I also, like, people, listen to me, people.
Yeah.
Stop being lazy. When we tell you about something, look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Look it up online. We'll give you a full name. We'll give you a full thing. Look it up. Don't be lazy. Look it up.
I don't think it's a matter of lazy. Like, it's not a matter of lazy. No, I think it's not a matter of lazy. When they don't sleep and they're tired mentally, and people deal with CPS, but yet they're dealing with working. They're dealing with keeping a roof over their head. They need to find ways to find an attorney. They can't financially afford it. So their mind, that's why I said, they're tired.
Miss G.
They're tired. Huh?
Miss G.
Yes.
Miss G.
Yes.
We were just talking about this before the show.
But they're tired.
I don't want to hear it, because I do the same thing. And yet I still research and I still do everything I'm supposed to. I have the same problem going on. It's
But
an excuse, if anything.
in the beginning of it, I'm talking about from the beginning of the case. They don't do their research because they're so scared.
Well, that's why we're telling them to do their
Yeah,
research.
right.
And don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Do the
your
research. Don't give the devil power over you. Bottom line, don't give the devil power over you. Remember, the devil wants you to be scared. The devil wants you to be tired. The devil wants you to completely lose your mind. If you do that, then you're literally giving that person the power over you. So center yourself, meditate. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, use meditation. Meditation is so important, you guys. Get the clutter out of your head and start focusing on the ahead. Don't focus on the past. No matter what the devil puts in front of you, your past is forgiven. Period. And actually, we need to pay more attention to the people around us. If you have people around you who are putting you down or discouraging you, you need to eliminate them from your life completely. Because you know who your friends are and who your family are when you're dealing with trials and tribulation. Right, Cassandra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like the California needs reform, like the comment that was just up, like I know, like I'm very aware of that. But guess what they want to try to do? What they want to reform is the list of child abuse people. Like they're auditing that list instead of auditing like the foster parents or stuff that's actually going to matter and make a difference. Correct. They're trying to audit the list of who has actually been a child abuser or something like that, because I guess it's missing a whole bunch of people to them.
Yeah.
And so like when people go to do background checks on like if you've been a child abuser or not, and some people are not on that list like they're supposed to be, but they're doing that instead.
But a
trying
lot of
to like, because I might be on that list. I don't know if I've ever been on that list because of my CPS case, but now that I am like possibly on that list, I can't be a preschool teacher like I wanted to be.
But you don't even know if you're on that list or not.
Exactly. But they don't know who's on that list either, and they're doing an audit about it. I seen it on a news article I was reading just recently. They're just starting to do an audit on it, and they're wanting to put more people on it that don't deserve to be on it.
I agree. So come on, you guys, put on your armor, thinking hat, get your prayers on, and start researching, start educating yourself. That book is very knowledgeable, like I said, very knowledgeable. It gives you step by step. Mr. Davis made it very, very easy to read, and he does the introduction. Part 2, the juvenile dependency court system. Number 3, the social worker's initial investigation. Number 4, first court hearing, the arraignment and detention hearing, placement with relatives and family friends. That's on page 27. The pre-release investigation, PRI, which is page 29. The jurisdiction hearing, the contested jurisdiction hearing, what happens at the trial, the dispositional hearing, the 388 petition and hearing, the 6 months review hearing, the 12 months review hearing, the selection and implementation hearing, 388 petition, bonding study. That's very important. I need to talk about the bonding study tomorrow. Bonding study, notice of appeal, foster parents' rights, and the secret, which is on page 69. And by law, believe it or not, foster parents do have rights. Some rights, not all rights, but some rights. Did you know that, Cassandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some rights.
Okay? Yeah, we don't have very many, but we have some.
Well, they have some rights. I just
there's only about, like, in California, there's only about 4.
Yeah, but I'm still fighting for the parents. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm more focused on the parents. Kids need their parents. They need their parents. And if the parent, like for example, if the mother is doing drugs or the father is doing drugs, get them help. But reunify them with their kids. Reunify them with their kids. That's very important because the kids, all kids, need to be with their parents. And I'm hoping to God that some people who are going through a bad divorce and custody put your feelings aside and focus on the children together, and don't involve the chaos to be in the midst of you because it's over. Call it a day. It's over. You can't work things out together, but you have children. Make sure that you work things out just for the child's sake and work together to raise that child. You can bad mouth each other when the children are 18. That's fine. That's on you. But don't do it to the children. Don't do it in front of your children. That's all I'm saying. I wish I can, Mr. Davis said we're gonna have a family law show, Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna tell Mr. Davis we should start a family law show. Because oftentimes family law cases turns into juvenile dependency cases. And juvenile law supersedes family law.
Yeah.
Juvenile courts, supersedes family courts. So make sure that you don't get to that point if you're having a bad custody.
I thank God that I actually have both of my baby dads, of my son and my daughters. Thank God I have support for the most part.
Yes.
With both of them. Like, I thank God that I've never had to physically, like, completely, like, fight with them too much. Before our kids got taken, I did have some problems with the girls' dad, but for the most part, I've never denied them and they've never denied me from seeing our kids. And we've always had that understanding,
and that's
that
how
the kids
be.
are what matter and not what our feelings are or what our significant other at the time cares about. Our children are coming first. And that's that.
And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with narcissists in court, Cassandra,
yeah,
it's a lot worse than you could ever process. It is.
Yeah.
So you were blessed, actually. You don't have to get to that point. But there's oftentimes parents, one of them is a narcissist, and it's the worst fight you could ever process. Again, judges cannot tell a behavior of a narcissist. Neither is children minor. What do you call my children minors? I meant to say the children minor counsel for children. They're not trained to read a narcissist. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. They're not trained. They're not trained. It's very hard. But yes, Cassandra was right earlier. You need to research. You need to educate yourself on who you are dealing with. And don't ever think that a juvenile dependency case is going to be only a $2,500 retainer. That's impossible. So if you find an attorney that says, a family law attorney that says $2,500 down, no way. A CPS case is so intense because the state moves so fast. So fast. Just like when you go to a car dealership and the salesman wants to sell you the car immediately. Am I right, Cassandra? You've been there, I'm sure. They want to sell you the car so fast. Am I right?
Yeah.
They have to get paid. They have to get paid. So yeah. you can't assume that everyone you speak with is going to help you. It takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of years to become perfect at what you do. A lot of years.
Yeah.
And proper training, that is. All right, my dear Cassandra, I'm going to have to... Oh, my God. We went over.
Like, yeah. Don't we always, though?
I know we do. you and I. When you and I are together, we always do this. We always do this. We're like Thelma and Louise. All right, guys. I love you guys. I'm praying for all of you. I love you, Cassandra.
Love you too.
And I will see you guys tomorrow with me and Cassandra. Hopefully, Michael and Darren. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But our show for Relatives Fight CPS at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Ciao. Love you, girl.
Love you too.